I have a question about the Fosters. If possible, that your character reappear on the show.
I would love that. I had such a great time on the Fosters, and playing the crazy piano prodigy was a lot of fun. And it's such a great group, from the writers to the cast to everyone on that show. I'd love to come back. I don't know, I haven't heard anything about that, but I'm definitely open to it.
Okay.
Hi, thank you first of all for being here.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question. To be honest with you, I have to confess I haven't read the books that gave origins to Shadowhunters,
Okay.
but I heard you did. So I'm wondering, while you're playing your character, do you by yourself do any ad-lib to your character that's more similar to the books than it is in reality to the script that you are playing?
That's interesting. I don't know that I necessarily bring ad-libs from the books, but what I do try and do, the reason I read the books, is because many of them are told from Clary's perspective. Most if not all of it is told from Clary's perspective, and experiencing the way she sees the world and reading the way she relates to each person and the details she notices about each person. When she looks at Jace, what does she notice about him? When she talks to Simon, what does she see and what does she hear? And it's those details that I try and bring in as much as possible. I mean, her character is very different now than it was in the books, in the sense that the sequence of events is different, and the characters have all been aged up. Instead of her 16th birthday, as it is in the books, the show started with her 18th birthday. So it does shift the perspective slightly, but I try and bring in what I can.
Since we're here at Comic Con, if you could dress up any cosplay, which one would you pick?
Ooh, probably something Star Wars, just because I'm such a fan and I'm so excited for the new film.
Such a kind of a princess, or?
Probably an Ewok, to be honest.
Okay. Just one more question.
Yeah.
If you found Santa Claus here, would you ask him for this Christmas?
Oh, goodness. I haven't even thought about that.
It's almost Christmas.
Yeah, it is. Probably, I'm setting up a new apartment, so probably, I think I still need like a set of mixing bowls and a cookie sheet, just so I can bake some Christmas cookies.
And just one more to finish. If you could bring to Shadowhunters any superhero, who would you pick up?
Ooh, I think Wolverine is always an interesting one, just because I'd love to see Luke and Wolverine have a conversation of, what it's like and similarities and differences, etc.
And you think your character could have a relationship with Wolverine? And not with the other guy,
Oh, like a relationship. I think they could definitely be buds, if nothing else. I think she'd first of all be starstruck, because Clary's such a comic fan to begin with. She'd be like, wait, these legends are true too? Hold on, this changes everything. But yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, thank you.
What can we expect from Maze Runner that could see?
I haven't seen the entire film yet, so I can only speak to what I was there for. But I love the Maze Runner. That family I knew before Shadowhunters, and coming back to that character and that group of people after doing 2 seasons of Shadowhunters was amazing, because it reminded me how similar the two casts are and how similar the two the social experience of it is, but also getting to come back to that story and finishing it up and having closure with that group. It was very bittersweet, because I'm so proud of them for everything that they've done. They've all worked so hard on those films, and getting to be even a small part of it is such a blessing, and I'm so excited to see the film.
Okay, thanks.
Since some of the characters in Shadowhunters are immortal, do you think that we can expect making the other book series on other timelines, or some Easter eggs from the past?
Maybe. I know a few elements of certain people's pasts definitely appear this season, and I can't say who or what or why, but that's definitely a huge part of this season. Also, I think the biggest thing I can tease about season 3 for Shadowhunters in a concise way is there was a lot that happened in episode 20, and there were a lot of choices that were made and a lot of events that took place. and a lot of those events have consequences, and we'll see all of that come to fruition, and we'll see all of the fallout, sort of everyone's actions.
Well, since you've started developing a little bit more in season 3,
Yes.
I'm going to abuse your trust and
Please
ask
do.
you, is it going to be a definite goodbye for Valentine? And just to add to that, what's up with Jace? He's being brought back to life, so there's going to be some major changes in his personality?
There are definitely consequences. I mean, we saw in the the trailer that was released at San Diego, New York Comic Con. There's a lot happening in this new season, and like I said, there are grave consequences for the actions that everyone took. But this is the whole thing. Nobody really knows what's going on with Jace, and it's weighing on Clary heavily because she feels like it's her fault. She made a choice in this moment to save the man that she loves, to use the one failsafe of the entire Shadow World for what can be said to be a selfish choice. But in the moment, it was a choice of passion and a choice of, her adrenaline was pumping. She had just killed her own father. She didn't really know what else to do, but seeing Jace's body there on the beach, what else could she have done? And I think a lot of us can say that we would have made the same choice in that moment. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it was the choice that she should have made according to her duty as a shadow hunter, but it's the choice that she made, and now dealing with those consequences of keeping their secret, of trying to protect Alec and Izzy from also being culpable, and trying to help Jace figure out what to do and how to help him, and will he accept her help. And it's all very complicated and convoluted, but that's sort of what comes into play a little bit.
And about Valentine? Bye-bye?
His presence is definitely felt.
Okay, good. I'll get that. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah.
In a movie you have more time. So do you think that maybe in characters, in TV shows like Claire, we can see a little bit more of you in the character? Since you have less time to adapt yourself?
I think that can be said. I mean, for me, Clary is probably a character that is closest to who I am as a person than any other character I've played, which is kind of exciting, but also incredibly scary at times, because in the vulnerable moments, it is very close to my actual vulnerabilities. But there's kind of a freedom to that and a beauty to that, I think, in showing the imperfection and in finding those moments. We've seen Clary go through a lot of ups and downs, and she's had a lot of moments of doubt and a lot of moments of, not weakness, but kind of insecurity. And the way that she overcomes that, and the way that she constantly picks herself back up, and the way she constantly moves forward is something that I find really admirable.
And what was your favorite episode? Not necessarily to shoot, but all the episode after you saw it.
Oh, after I saw it?
Yeah.
That's so difficult. I think, speaking about season 2 in particular, I loved, I gotta say, episodes, I'm gonna say 14 through 20, and that's so bad, but it's true, because everyone was so different. You had the Sealy Court, and then you had Simon and Clary's breakup episode, which was really hard to shoot for us, but it was so worth it in the end. And then moving forward from there, so many things happened and so many things changed in the world. I think overall 19 and 20, we shot those together, so they kind of are a unit for us. They might have been my favorite, just because there was so much happening and there were so many fights and it was so intense, and we had a drone on set almost every other day and shooting all of that stuff. Just the cinematography of it and the level of spectacle that created, and the emotional nature of it as well was it was hard work, but it was worth it, and perhaps I see that when I watch it.
I have just one last question.
Yeah.
When you were reading, before you knew what would happen, do you prefer Team Jace or Team Simon?
See, people ask me this question all the time, and I have to say, I think both are necessary for Clary and for all three characters, really, to become who they are supposed to be. I found this, and I had to think about this myself, but when you read all the books, you see the characters as they are at the end of book 6. and that's how you picture them. But you have to realize that they have to go through everything that they went through in order to become that person. And so it's all about the journey. I think Clary and Simon had to go through that to fully understand each other and understand their relationship, and then to further solidify their friendship moving forward. And Jace and Clary, their relationship is so rocky constantly. It's complicated. It's just perpetuate their relationship status. But with everything that both of them have gone through, it's only made them stronger, and it's only made their bond more solidified, I guess is the best way I can put it.
You mentioned before that you received scripts that sometimes were major plot twists to what you filmed a few days back. Was there any moment, because we as fans of the show, when we see a moment that's a major plot twist, we're mostly like, but why? Why would you do this? Was there any moment for you when you received the script, and which one did you were like, no, please no, why?
There have been several, and there's a lot that there's a few in particular that I can't talk about yet. But I can say that on a weekly basis when I read the scripts, I will be laughing, crying, gasping, and yelling at the script as I'm reading it. And if I ever have friends or family in town, they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, don't worry about it. Stuff's happening, just hang on, I'm gonna keep reading. But that's what's exciting, and I think for me, I'm incredibly attached to the story because of the personal relationships I have, not only with the books, but also with the people playing these characters. I think everyone is incredibly well cast and incredibly well suited to their characters, and I think that's what adds so much to the story. And our personal relationships definitely influence the relationships you see on screen, which I think only makes it that much better. But I get incredibly excited when I get a new script. It's been amazing to kind of see marginally and partake in some of the food, which has been amazing. But I'm looking forward to spending a little bit of time and seeing things over the next couple days.
Hi.
Hi.
If Maze Runner was a TV show instead of a movie series, and also if Shadowhunters was a movie series and not a TV show, what do you think would change in the exploration of the story? What would be the advantages and disadvantages of each?
That's interesting. I love Orphan Black, by the way. I think as far as Maze Runner goes, you would get a chance to explore the sort of one-on-one relationships of all of the Gladers and the Group B folks, and kind of getting to see how that would develop in more detail, sort of what you don't get to see in between on screen, which I think is really exciting, because again, it's very much like Shadowhunters. It's a hugely diverse cast, and there's so many different characters, and seeing them interact on a one-on-one basis would be really fun, I think, especially because, like Shadowhunters, the Maze Runner group is just a big family, and everybody is so wonderful and fun to work with, wonderful to work with, super talented. And if Shadowhunters were a film, it'd be interesting to see, because again, we would have less screen time, but goodness, that would be interesting. I actually think I would miss a lot of things if Shadowhunters were a film, because there are so many details to the relationships and to the world that you just simply wouldn't have time for. And I don't know, as a fan of the mythology, I think I would miss a lot of things. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Ficamos então por aqui. Muito obrigada a todos.
Awesome, thank you. Hey.